Zudio has cracked the code to India's fashion industry. The $500 million fashion brand, which was unknown a year ago, is giving giants like Westside, Reliance and Max a run for their money. It has nailed value pricing to the T, offering everything under $999. And by the way, they don't give discounts, they don't do seasonal clothing, but they own a massive chunk of India's fashion retail industry. And you know what? They even might beat their sister company Westside soon. Now, how they got here is deeper than just cheap pricing. In this video, we'll go deep into why Zudio is all the rage suddenly, how this Tata-owned company thrive in a massively competitive market, and how have they gotten to this level of $500 million. To give you a hint, they have a 5-part growth framework in play. So let's dig in. See, India has a very exciting fashion retail market right now. And while most brands have always looked at targeting the urban tier 1 customers, they have only recently realized that the real money resides in Bharat, the tier 2, 3, 4 towns. I mean, tier 2 to tier 4 cities spend 77% more than tier 1 in their last online shopping transaction. And this is where Zudio and the world of value fashion come into the picture. Alright, that's enough context. Now let's dig deep into the 5 core insights that has gotten Zudio here, with the first clearly being pricing. See, the Indian fashion customer is interesting. If they spend a higher amount, they look for brands like Zara and H&M. But when they don't want to spend a higher amount, they look for Indian value brands. And this is what dictates the core pricing insight for Zudio. They have one clear value prop on pricing: everything under $999, while keeping up to date with the most recent trends. See, Zudio was aware about the fact that their customers don't necessarily care about labels. All they want is clothing that looks great and is affordable. They had a clear understanding of their core user: college students and tier 2-3 folks for whom looking on trend is super important for their social circle, but they can't afford to spend a lot. Zudio cracked the aspiration of being trendy, but without burning a hole in your pocket. And competitors have a tough time matching Zudio on their price while maintaining the same quality. For instance, take Reliance Trends. They charge 5x more on the same cloth, and its own soul sister, Westside, has to charge 3x. And for Tatas, it's a clear divide and conquer strategy. Westside fulfills urban aspirations and owns tier 1, while Zudio is their depth and penetration play into tier 2, 3, 4 cities, allowing them to reach a massively wide audience. Now, the interesting bit here is that this pricing model makes margins wafer thin for Zudio. So I'll tell you what we'll see them doing soon is announcing product lines that may cost $1,500, but it'll give them much better margins to play with. Now, the next strategy in their playbook is absolute obsession with inventory. See, for any value fashion retailer to survive and thrive in India, the core problem to solve is inventory. And Zudio has a clear playbook here. Offer great looking clothes, maintain attractive pricing, and swiftly refresh the inventory. This flywheel turns in itself and sustains their business. See, Zudio's rate of churning out its inventory is rapid. They refresh products on a weekly basis at a rate of 160%, making sure their store looks new with new products and styles every 2 months. Think about it. Every 2 months, every Zudio practically becomes new, and none of their competitors have been able to crack this. Considering their spends on store decor, interior, and staff are super low, letting their inventory take care of store refresh is a genius idea. Their obsession with inventory management extends even to them staying away from merchandise like winter wear, which can only be sold for a limited period, right? Like 1 or 2 months in a year. Think about it. By avoiding such merchandise selections, Zudio eliminates the risk of being stuck with unsold inventory for an entire year if the season doesn't perform well. This, coupled with operational efficiency, is a mega machine for Zudio in itself. But before we get into that, if you've been liking these growth insights, you will love our bi-weekly newsletter, Growth Shots. It's subscribed by over 85,000 founders and growth leaders from companies like DoorDash, Uber, Google, Crore, Razorpay, you name it. The link to subscribe to it is in the description. Okay, let's get back to it. Coming to operational efficiency. Like every other brilliant retailer, Zudio knew that they can only milk profits when they maintain impeccable operational efficiency. And they cracked this by solving 3 core aspects. First, marketing costs. See, unlike Zara or H&M, Zudio saves tons by not investing heavily in marketing or promotions. Instead, they focused on building a product their core users rave about. Their acquisition hook for getting massive footfall is clear, right? Everything under $9.99. But their ability to take a large number of customers and converting them into paying buyers at a rate twice as high as other retail outlets is the true magic. They did this by creating aha moments. Customers are surprised by the quality offered at the price that they're paying. This makes them brag about Zudio with their friends and solves for repeat purchase easily. Next is their store locations. Take Zudio's 10 stores in Mumbai. None of them are in the central or southern parts. Why? Because the real estate there is super expensive. Compared to West Side's 13 outlets, all of which are in these areas. It makes sense, right? Zudio doesn't want to reach the SOMO or affluent audience. It wants the tier 1 outskirts or tier 2 cities or below that. So being in good catchment locations with low competition and moderate rentals allows them to maintain a lean cost structure and sharp pricing. And all of this feeds into their desired outcome, which is revenue per square feet. And let me tell you, Zudio is a beast here. With an average revenue per square feet of 12 to 15,000 rupees, they surpass the average industry rate of 8 to 10,000. And by the way, they even surpassed West Side, which is at 9,950 rupees. And this whole thing fits perfectly into the way Zudio has cracked their massive store growth driver. Zudio took a clear call early on. They made a conscious decision to not get into e-commerce. Why? Well, first being the costs associated with delivery, and the second is the high rate of returns faced in the e-commerce world. For a brand with as it is slim profit margins, this is of course not an ideal scenario. And so they unleashed their strategy of focusing on growth via actual physical stores. They established physical stores and captured the attention of value-seeking customers all across the country. With 352 outlets already operating in 119 cities, the potential for expansion seems limitless, with numerous untapped cities and towns waiting to be explored. And as we said, 250 stores in 6 years. That's massive. And to achieve this level of Godspeed, they adopted a unique FOCO model, which is a franchise-owned, company-operated model, unlike the conventional industry standard of COCO-FOFO models. This allows Zudio to partner with franchisees who invest in the store setup with a capital expenditure ranging from 50 million to 20 million rupees for a store size of 6,000 square feet. In return, the franchisee receives a fixed revenue share, while Zudio operates the store and retains the profitability. This model allows Zudio to expand its presence rapidly by leveraging the investment and efforts of these franchisees. And the last insight that works massively for Zudio is private labeling. Now here Zudio takes inspiration from its sister company Westside, which has increasingly relied on its own brands. The contribution of Westside's own labels to its revenue has grown from 80% in March 2013 to 100% at present. And this strategy allows Zudio to do two things. First, enable maximum profit margin. See, private labels allow you to have the max profit margins because you eliminate commissions that other brands charge. And both Westside and Zudio, both Tata-owned companies, are the only ones who rely on this strategy 100%. Whereas Reliance Trends and Pantaloons get only 75% and 65% respectively of their sales from private labels. And second, white labeling allows Zudio to reap the benefits of fast fashion. Remember their core audience, college kids. Zudio is in the market of fast fashion, which means it has to keep up with ongoing trends that are blown up on Instagram and by celebrities. Owning their own private label allows them to churn out fresh inventory within 2 weeks and keeps them relevant in the pop culture. This is a primary driver to get massive footfall in their stores because people see trends on Instagram and they know where to get it for the perfect price. And those were the 5 core insights into how Zudio grew to become a $500 million company today. Will it beat Reliance Trends and Max in the future? We'll see. But that's it for today's video. I'll see you in the next one.